relationship with Brian has taught me so many lessons in every aspect of life that have had so much of an influence on my life. I'll never be able to repay him for what he's done. He taught me to never pass up on an opportunity to network with people because there's always something I could learn. He taught me to have the confidence in everything that I do, even if I'm scared to death. He helped me put into perspective the importance of my family and my faith and always rely on those two things. He gave me the hope that I would find the man of my dreams if I follow God's plan and never settle. And I found him. I could go on and on all day about the things that Brian has taught me or that I learned just by knowing and watching him. But one of the most incredible things that I've learned about Brian is that no matter what he's doing, where he is, how many hats he's wearing that day, he always acts like you're the most important thing going on. It's incredible to see the effort he puts in his relationships and how he always puts others before himself. Another thing Brian has taught me is anytime I go to a new restaurant or try something different is to always go in there with an open mind and don't order the same thing. It's one of those things that weirdly I've carried on through all these years since my first time meeting him. And it's really opened my eyes to some things, and I feel like it's just a metaphor in life to be open to new opportunities and new things, because you never know what's going to cross your way if you're closed-minded to the same old thing. If I could go back to DC and relive one memory, oh my goodness, I don't know what it would be. I would say that second time going through the program with those new learners and seeing the dazzle in their eyes and their excitement, but me kind of knowing what to expect and being able to be the mom in the situation and getting things around. I love that opportunity because it helped me really value those friendships and take advantage of all the little things that I may have missed that first time because I was so exciting and overwhelmed myself. So I would say that, or just having the opportunity to be with so many different people that I wouldn't have had the chance to meet or cross paths with if it hadn't been for this opportunity and for Brian making all this happen. So I just want to say thank you, Brian, for the life lessons you've taught me, for all the impacts that you've made on each of our lives, and for never giving up faith in us and still valuing that friendship that we have, as well as being always interested in what's going on in our lives and always hoping for the best for us. Thank you for this opportunity and for the opportunities you continue to give so many student athletes. I could never thank you enough.
Brian Hamil, hope you're doing well, my friend. I'll try to keep this quick, but I just want to say a quick thank you for everything you've done for me and the program. You've had a big impact on all of our lives. Whether it's our personal life, professional life, you're always there to listen and to offer any kind of advice we need, little or big. You're always there. You're with our group in particular. We had a bunch of crazy stories, some lame jokes, and some crazy ideas. But you're always there to listen and laugh with us, and kind of share those memories that I still remember to this day. The one lesson you taught me, Brian, that I still use today, and it's a big one, was how to button up my suit. That one night we all had to dress real fancy and formal, and it was the first night I ever wore a suit. I had no idea what to do, what to wear. I had these buttons that I didn't know where to button them, and you came up and you're just like, sometimes, always, never. And I still use it to this day. When I have to wear a suit to coach games in, I still use sometimes, always, never. You've had a big impact on me looking halfway normal and not completely dumb on the sidelines during our games. So thank you, Brian. But looking back on it, if I could redo anything, it would just be the experience in general. I don't know if I've ever had so much fun and learned so much in those 2 weeks in my entire life. The relationships I was able to build, and the people I was able to meet it was ridiculous how cool it all was. And Brian, I just want to say thank you for everything. I hope you're doing well, man, and enjoying life. And
Hi, Brian. I want to thank you so much for everything that you've done with the American Red Cross and our student leadership program, which has been awesome just the last few years. Just meeting you and getting to know you, and just getting to know our trip for Washington, D.C. That was just such an awesome experience. I'm so thankful and blessed that I was able to do that, and you were the one who played such a big role in that, and who decided it, and I thank you for that. Just an update on my life is I recently got married in December, on December 27th, to my best friend Andrew, and we both live now in Elburn, Illinois. I've been a teacher. I'm finishing my second year. This year I'm teaching first grade, and I'm really enjoying it, and I really like it as well.
Hi, Brian. It's Hannah. Just wanted to say thank you so much for all the awesome work that you do with the Red Cross NAI Collegiate Leadership Program. And it's incredible that this is ongoing its 10th year. And just wanted to say thank you so much for all of your awesome work. And just wanted to share with you a little bit about how my relationship with you has impacted my life, not only academically and professionally, but overall. Brian, you encouraged me on so many different levels as a professional and a student. You challenged me to be the best that I can and to be confident about it and not to shy away, but really to grow into who I was created to be, and just really encouraged me and spurred me on and sharpened me to continue to just be the best of the best. And I really appreciate all of the time and the effort that you put into personally investing into me in my life. One of my favorite memories with you was just talking with you at the end of the 2 weeks and just kind of having an open, honest conversation about what's next and how to continue to strive for nothing short of the best. And I really appreciated just that conversation with you, especially after kind of a difficult class. Just really appreciated all the kind words that you had to say. Looking back, one of the biggest lessons that you taught me was to always ask questions and to always pursue time with leaders, whether that's going to coffee with them or asking for one-on-one time with them. You really encouraged me to kind of chase after what I wanted and to do it with a lot of enthusiasm and passion. If I could go back to DC and relive one part of the program, I think it would be just getting to spend time with my class and getting to spend time with you. I know that one of my favorite memories as well is just going and getting ice cream or going out to dinner and sharing meals together and just kind of having that fun family-like atmosphere on top of already what the program had to offer. So thank you again so much for all your hard work and for just the foundational leadership skills that I learned during this program, because I don't think I would be where I am today without it. Thanks, Brian.
One of my favorite memories from being in DC is when I showed up, my last name was misspelled, and so from the whole entire time on, Brian referred to me as Jamie Zimmerman instead of Zimmerer. So that was one of my favorite memories. One words of wisdom that Brian told that I still use today is never fail to express gratitude, and I think this is very important. It's one of the best things you can do, and I think I try to live by it every day because I am very appreciative of the opportunities that I have been given. And if I could go back to Washington, D.C., I would definitely want to relive the day that we got to meet Brian Boyle, and then we got to go visit the president of the Red Cross. That was an absolutely amazing day, and it's one I definitely will never forget. I hope all is well.
Hi, Brian. I just want to thank you again for the amazing opportunity and experience I had in Washington, D.C. It was all thanks to you, so thank you. Coincidentally, my favorite memory of you and the lesson that I learned are exactly the same. Your message to lean into the challenge I've tried to keep with me since the trip and use in every important aspect of my life, so thank you so much for that. If I could relive anything from the trip, I would say the night monuments. So when we went and saw the monuments at night, that was a great experience, and I'm so glad that I got to do that. I'd never been to Washington before, and that was a great experience. It was really fun. Thank you.
My relationship with Brian has taught me that every decision or action that I do reflects on me as a person. So it makes me think about who I want to be, what I want to do, He makes me want to give back to the community more, even though just giving blood is one thing, but there's so much more to do in the American Red Cross, and I want to do that post-graduation. My favorite memory about Brian was he was excited every morning for us to get there and learn about what he had coming in that day or who he had coming in that day, all the lessons. He always taught us to not only take back what they were teaching us, but also what kind of lesson can be learned in our everyday life. He was always a lesson provider, I guess you could say. One lesson that I learned from Brian was always appreciate what you have and what kind of opportunities you get. A lot of people don't get the kind of opportunities that we got through the American Red Cross. And I that was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life, was just seeing what I can do as an individual. And he really taught me that, and I carry that with me wherever I go in life. I think the greatest thing that came out of DC was the opportunity to not only grow as a person, but gain a family as well. Brian, you created a family for us that I connect with every day. I talk to almost every day, and I seek advice not only for a blood drive, but for life as well. I thank you every day for that. You brought 13 of us together, and those 2 weeks flew by, and every single memory that was created, I will never let go. I will never forget. So thank you for that.
Brian, where do I even begin? This program completely changed my life, and every day I still talk about how thankful I am that I was able to attend this NAIA Red Cross Collegiate Leadership Program. You taught me so much, and I had such a blast. I still tell everyone it was the best 2 weeks of my life, and I mean it. The biggest thing that you taught me was just to take my confidence that I have into leadership positions in every single aspect of my life. Ever since I left DC, the moment I got off the plane back home, I feel so much more confident in everything that I do. I feel like I really matured into the leader that I always knew I could be, but I wasn't quite there yet during the program. But I feel I matured as an individual and just as a leader, and I'm so, so thankful for that. My favorite lesson that you taught us, among so many, was to embrace the challenge, to be fearless, and to not be afraid of every new opportunity you're given. Don't be afraid to take chances. If things get hard, don't be afraid. Just embrace it, because it's the most challenging things in life that end up being the most rewarding. And I think I've really taken that advice to heart. Moving to New York by myself last summer, I really embraced that. And of course it was a challenge, but because of what I learned in DC, because of meeting you and the leadership advice that you've given me and the person I became because of the program in DC, it allowed me to embrace that challenge among others in that life. And now I look at challenges not as a hassle or not as something that's upsetting. I look at it as something I can embrace and something that I can take and make me into a better person because of it. And it can help me learn and grow as a person, and that's how I see them. And I'm not afraid anymore, so thank you. My favorite memory from DC, among pretty much every moment of being in DC, but if I could go back and relive one thing from DC, it would be the night that we went out in front of headquarters, in front of Red Cross headquarters, and it was pouring rain and it was super dark, but we played ultimate frisbee for like 2 hours, and we came back to the dorms and we were like so soaked, but it was like so much fun. We were muddy and it was raining and it was wet, and we were exhausted because we were like sprinting around for 2 hours, but it was so much fun just to have the whole group out there playing ultimate frisbee. That was a really good time.
Not only did I have the privilege of working under you for the Red Cross, but I also was lucky enough to work under you in the public accounting world as well. You hold your employees and volunteers to a very high standard, and I really admire that. You push people to be professional and to work hard. I may not be working for you anymore, but I haven't lowered those standards. My favorite memory of you in DC was working out together every day, all of us athletes and then the student leaders, and you as well, working out in the weight room or going for runs. I'm pretty sure you could have kicked all of our butts, so that was always funny. Your message to us in DC was to lean into the challenge, and to be honest with you, I am not the best at that. I haven't mastered it yet, especially getting ready to study for the CPA exam. I'm just super intimidated, but your message is a good reminder to lean into the challenge and to face it head on. If I could go back to DC, I would listen to Brian Boyle's story probably 100 more times. He's such an inspiration and a great real-life example of the impact the Red Cross has on the world and the people in it. So thank you for all you do, Brian. Without you, these experiences wouldn't be possible.
Hey Brian, it's Nicole. I was in the 2014 class. I'm from Calumet College of St. Joe's, and I'm here to tell you, meeting you has had a huge impact on my life. Not only in my personal life, my professional, and even my academics. My relationship with you has impacted it so much that I continue to strive to be the best student athlete that I can possibly be, while trying to be a great role model, because that is exactly what you do. One memory that I definitely can say is has stuck in my mind ever since is when you started sharing stories about not only your personal life, not only your professional life, but just about you in general. Everybody on that trip really got a feel of who you really were, and it meant a lot to us, coming from someone that's so successful that we could actually relate to. One thing that you have definitely taught me that I still use today is to always be humble. No matter how good someone is at something, you never know who's watching, who's looking up to you. So always be humble at what you do. And if I could relive one thing that had happened at DC, or in DC, I'd have to say the time that I spent with everyone. That was by far the most impactful thing that has happened. And I cannot thank you enough for that. Thank you, Brian, for everything. And good luck.
My name is Julia Tyree, and I'm a student at Concordia University in Seward, Nebraska, and I was a part of the 2014 American Red Cross NAIA Champions of Character Leadership Program. And I'm here to talk to you about Brian Hamil. First off, I want to tell you about my first memory with Brian. We all came to this program and we're dressed in our professional outfits in this very fancy room, and we're sitting there very straight up, and he walks in his suit, and we're all ready and attentive. And he comes in, he goes, "My name is not Mr. Hamil. I am not sir, I'm just Brian." And you saw us all breathe a sigh of relief and kind of melt back into our chairs. And being able to balance that professional atmosphere while still letting it be relaxed is something I hope to master one day. One thing that I learned from Brian is to live passionately and to really love what you do, because it shows. He has so much care in everything that he does, and I hope to have that same enthusiasm with everything that I do. And one example that he was is truly a servant leader. He lives to help other people. He took 2 weeks out of his life to come and talk to crazy college kids and hope that they listen, and do it with such enthusiasm and positivity. And that's so admirable to me, and I hope to one day be able to live for others like that and do it with so much heart. Well, if I could redo anything going back to Washington, D.C., well, besides fainting and going to the hospital because that was really embarrassing, I'd want to just have more time to listen. I was surrounded by some of the most interesting and amazing people with awesome stories and the biggest hearts that you could imagine. And I wish I had a little more time just to hear their story and be able to absorb all of their knowledge. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
Hi Brian, I just want to take the time to make this video for you and thank you for the opportunity of letting me be part of the Red Cross / NAI Leadership Program. Through this past year, the program alone has opened up countless opportunities for me, and I know for the rest of the group as well, and just being part of the program really helped my confidence and my ability to lead others and make an impact in the community alone. Just from being with you over the 2 weeks, it taught me a lot about how I want to live my life. You united 13 strangers. Not every day someone can do that and just have all of them click. You showed genuine compassion for each one of our stories. We could just ramble on, and you would just be sitting there, like, really listening to us. And you can't find that with everyone. And you just showed complete humility and selflessness. And just by the way you made me feel, makes me want to make people that I'm leading feel that way too. Just that I really care about them, because I know that you really care about us. Probably my most favorite memory with you was when we went and saw the Navy band. Majority of the group went, but half of them were lame and ditched us. But it just was me, Julia, and Brian Palmer that stayed to the very end. And as we were walking away, we hear you and Anna Maria yelling at us to come up to her apartment and hang out with them and just talk with them. There was some pretty great chocolate gelato there, so that was pretty awesome. And we were just talking from our families to our hopes and our dreams for the future. And just from talking like that, it really inspired me that I can do something in this world and that I can really impact more people than just my university. And the American Red Cross has opened that up. It's just amazing to be able to have that experience and be on such a great level with someone like that. There's countless lessons I learned from you over the 2 weeks, but two that really stuck out to me was actually in one of the articles that you gave me, which I'm going to pull out right now. It's the Inspiring Others, Strategic Management, and 3 Dimensions of Purpose. I had this highlighted in DC, so I don't think I just did this. It says, purpose lifts us at the end of the day, beyond the tasks we have accomplished and the goals we have achieved, to the realization we have not just added value, we have achieved significance in pursuit of something greater. To me, that's saying, even though you might have failed that day, you still learned something, you still have that pursuit to do something greater. To me, that's saying, even though you might have failed that day, you still learned something, you still have that pursuit to do something great for more people. And that failure is something good. It can be good for the people that you're leading to see, because that vulnerability and that notion of they're not perfect is something that really allows you to connect with other people. And speaking of that, the second lesson that you taught me was in your final words to us on the very last day at headquarters. So not like when we were at George Washington University, but we were actually at the headquarters. It was when you said that we have friends for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And that affects me in everyday interaction with people. And just that alone allows me to become an even better leader, because it's making me reflect on how I'm affecting people. And I really hope that one day that you and me will still be lifetime friends. Probably one, I actually have 2 memories that really affected me from the actual program. Was when we went to Arlington Cemetery. There was only a group of us, and we went and saw the changing of the guards and exchanging of the wreaths. And witnessing the emotion and the impact that had on the people watching that was something that I couldn't even put into words. And like everyone there had tears in their eyes. Julia was crying. Brian was telling us that they were taking 21 steps because it's the highest respect for anyone in the Army, military, serving our country. And that was just something that was absolutely amazing. And the second thing was when we had the breakfast with all the presenters and all the people that spoke to us over the 2 weeks, and you gave me the chance to actually talk to them and thank them for being there. But it didn't pan out as what I expected, but it was just cool seeing the presenters on a more casual level where we can just talk to them and kind of talk to them about what we want to do after this program and how we're going to take this back into our communities. It was just so powerful. And I really just want to thank you for all that you've done for me, Brian. I couldn't even put into words. I'm probably going to cry, but you're absolutely amazing, and thank you for everything.
Hey Brian, it's Maddie. I know this video is a surprise, but there are a lot of things that I really do have to say about you, because you have changed my life. Your program will impact me for the rest of my life, and I am so grateful for that. You taught me so many skills that I can utilize professionally in my own personal life, and I am so grateful for that. And I am just forever grateful to you for what you taught me and the program that you provided for all of us. DC, I definitely didn't know what to expect, but you made it phenomenal. And that's really all I can say. Walking around the city with you, going out to lunch with you, working with you in the classroom, I will cherish those memories for the rest of my life. And that's something that no one can ever take away from me. You gave me new best friends, great mentors, and I know I can come to you for anything. Whenever I'm struggling with blood drives, your constant support is always there for me. And I know you're a busy man, but you reaching out to us on the day of our blood drives is something I am so thankful for, because there are days when I definitely struggle preparing for the blood drive, getting signups, getting walk-ins, but I know you have my back. Regardless of the outcome, I know you're there for me, and that's just something that I can never say thank you enough times for, because who can do that? Who can balance all they have to do and then still reach out to every single person in their program who's running blood drives? That is just so great, and I love you for it, because what else am I supposed to say? You have changed my life. You taught me how to be a true leader, how to truly utilize my skills, and to push me past my breaking point. When we were in DC, I was feeling challenged, I was feeling pushed, but you were always right there to pick me up and to tell me that I'm good enough to be a leader at this high level. I can run these blood drives. I can be a leader on the field, and you know my true potential. You know that I'm not just going to be a teacher. You know that I have that potential to be a superintendent or a principal. And that's something that a lot of people haven't said to me, and so I am so grateful that you believe in me. I really only knew you for 14 days before you told me that I do have the potential to do great things. And that truly means so much to me. Who else can tell me that, and who else will I believe that after I've only known them for 2 weeks? But I believe you, and I know you believe in me, so thank you for that. I love you, and I miss you so much, and I hope I can see you soon. I know you're not too far away. Bye.
Hey Brian, it's Brian. So just wanted to be a part of this montage of videos to say thank you, and I wanted to share with you that, and I think I mentioned it, but to you in person, but because of you, I understand what success is, and it's not anything financial. It's the family. It's making a difference in other people's lives. It's being a part of something that you are passionate about, and you showed me that. You know, I had one idea of success for the Red Cross, and to be allowed into your life, and you shared so much with us and me, and I now understand what success is, and that's where I want to be. So, thank you. My favorite memory. So we did a lot of cool things. You know, baseball games and the Washington Monument, and you know, just a lot of cool things like that, and everything we did, you know, at the headquarters. But the coolest thing that I will remember is when we were going for a walk after class one day, and we were going to probably, I think it was dinner. We went to Hamilton's, and we were walking through the streets of DC. It was a beautiful night, and you and I were just talking baseball. We were talking about Goshen College baseball, and what you know, Bethel College was for, you know, back in the day, the rivalry there, and just, it was like the coolest thing, because you understood me, and you're a person that I had never met before. And it was cool, and it was so sincere and genuine, and that's just something I will remember forever. I'm so grateful. So thank you. So I have a question on here that if I could go back to DC and relive one thing, what would it be? Again, I'm going to go with obscurity, but I think the last day we were together as a group, you were about to leave to go back home to Fort Wayne. I think we had that evening together. You know, we were in the other end of the room. We were all just sitting around, and we just talked. And it was just like we all just let out everything. Like, we were so grateful to you, but we were so grateful to each other. And this kind of little family thing we had going. It was just such a cool moment to be a part of, and just so much love in the room. And you shared your words with us. It was just something that, gosh, if I could go back and relive, that would be it. So thank you, Brian, for everything and everything in the future, and just being a part of my life is pretty cool. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Getting to know Brian has given me another voice inside my head that is always pushing me to be the best version of myself. One of the most memorable parts of DC was whenever me and Megan got to have dinner with Brian. Getting to connect on a more personal level with one of the best people in the entire world was such a blessing. I got to hear him talk about his family, and I got to share about mine. In the workshops, Brian stressed accountability, and ever since DC, I've really tried to be more accountable for my actions, good or bad. He taught us in order to be a better leader, we must fess up to our mistakes, learn from them, and then move on. There's no way I could choose just one part of DC to relive. 2 weeks with all those people will forever be near and dear to my heart. I miss them all so much, and I think about them every day. Being there truly made me into a better person and a better leader.
First, I wanted to start off by saying thank you, Brian, for all that you've done for me, as well as all of the members that have gone through this program. My relationship with you has definitely affected my life. I think in the biggest way it's affected how I'm conscious of my role, or at least try to be conscious of what my role is in different situations. Academically, I have definitely stepped up my game since I've gone through the program. I've oddly enough started dressing better, just like getting out of bed and getting ready to go for the whole day, and presenting myself more professionally. And I've also learned to communicate more effectively with my professors. My emails have gotten a little more formal and professional, and a lot of questions I had before were answered. And professionally, I learned a lot of skills that maybe seemed obvious but weren't. For example, when we called our DRDs when we were in Washington, D.C., we learned how to talk on the phone and how to pretend like you're just having a normal conversation, smile, and do all the little things that you would do if you were talking face to face. And I've used this in interviews, applying for jobs this summer. And in my life, I think I've become a lot more conscious of my role on the volleyball team. I have kind of stepped back and realized that I need to work on my temper a little bit, and so that's one thing that has developed a lot this year since I went through the program. I think my favorite memory with Brian was at the baseball game that we went to, and I think that was kind of toward the end of the trip, if I remember correctly. And it was really cool because Brian had just taught us all sorts of stuff throughout the week, and then we got to go out and just be normal, and got to see him kind of as a role, sort of like a father, and it was a lot of fun. And one lesson that Brian taught me that I still use today is the code of conducts that we created while we were there. I have like 5 copies of my code of conduct. I keep one on my desk in my room, and then one in my locker, and I just have some floating around. And I still edit it from time to time. I think there's a few things I put on there that are still goals, but I made them a little more feasible. And yeah, so that's one big thing. And if I could go back to DC and relive one thing from the program, I think it would just be being with the group again. We had so much fun, and like in the classroom and just walking around. I was always learning and taking in really cool stuff. You're just surrounded by so many intelligent people while you're there, and I would love to go back and just soak that up one more time. Yeah. Thank you, Brian.
Hello, Brian. I just want to take this moment to thank you specifically for the program or the opportunity provided us through this American Red Cross NAIA leadership program. First of all, just thank you for taking your leadership on this initiative to invest in students across the country from year to year. It's people like you that help us as young leaders step up and to have the resources that we need and the training, proper training, and support and encouragement for us to step up into the leadership positions that we already have on our campus. Without this program, I don't know what I would do today with the lessons I've learned. The lessons that I have learned through my time at DC and through the opportunity to run blood drives will last, stay for a long time, or hopefully for the rest of my life. I know in particular the skills that, first of all, one of the main skills I know have learned as a leader is you don't have to have it right all the time. You're going to mess up. And that's one thing I understand. And, through our leadership training, I have learned how to bounce back from mistakes, how to own those mistakes, and hopefully how to learn from those mistakes and to become a better leader. Looking back on the program, there's not one thing that I would want to change. If I could go redo it, I would redo it all. The opportunity to meet and connect with people from across the country is unreal. The amount of contact that I have even still to this day with people from my program. I know we will claim always to be the best program in your history, the class of 2014. Whether that is true or not, we'll still believe it in our hearts, and I just want to thank you for this opportunity. I remember the times that you specifically took to invest in us. One moment in particular was the night that you took about 5 or 6 of us to separate it from the group, and we just walked around Washington D.C. Although several of the sites that we wanted to see were closed, and so some people might have seen that as a bummer, but I saw it as that's one of my favorite nights that I remember from Washington D.C. because we got the opportunity to hang out on a smaller group, and I got the opportunity to hang out with you and get to know you better. And you demonstrate the true qualities in a leader that we see. One thing that I know is, first of all, your kindness. I can't imagine you getting angry in situations. I know all humans get angry, but even if you were angry at any time when we were there, you didn't show it. You still found a way to think positive and to help encourage us, even in our mistakes that we might have made while we were in DC. And also the continuity of your character between all areas of your life is another thing I learned. How you were the same person with Randon and Hannah and Julie, who are our leaders, as you were with us or your colleagues. You were still that same genuine person who cared about others, and I appreciate that more than you can know. And I want to thank you. Those thank you. They can't be put in words with the stuff that you have done for us. So I hope you keep the program running, and I hope it continues to go well. And I hope that the future classes will also meet your expectations and becoming leaders. And one day your network is going to expand. Your network of true leaders that you've created will expand across the country, and this is a connection that we will be able to have with others that is unique and they can't be matched in any way. Just thank you.